All right, we're back.
We're in the future. I think Joe just had a stroke.
Stroke.
Do you guys?
You know that little Hot Wheel DeLorean doesn't actually go back in time.
Does anybody have any salt?
What? For your eyes?
Hi, I'm Joe Lewis. Welcome to Bonehead. This is episode 10.
If we had a top 10 list,
This would
every
not-
episode would be ranked 10.
What would be 9, 8, 7, and 6?
Yet to be determined.
Yet to be determined.
If we had a top 10 list,
TBD.
8 episodes wouldn't make it. You tell us which 2 would. Anyway, I'm Joe Lewis.
Spot.
I'm not even looking at him anymore.
You know, Walt Disney, if you spell it backwards, a lot of people don't know this, spells George Hamilton.
It doesn't.
No.
Totally does. Get a pen and paper, write it down right
Who
now.
are you?
I'm James Stiles, and I am confused as hell.
All right. So
Just like watching a David Lynch.
No.
sometimes it's just an experience. Anyway,
I tried to watch Mulholland Drive. I'm 10 minutes in and I'm so confused. And
You
I've
don't-
already seen it 5
maybe.
times.
you do not need to worry about the plot in Mulholland Drive.
No.
There are other things to take your attention, sir. Yes. What was the
Dude.
brunette's name?
I have no idea other than she was in The Punisher with the first Punisher. No, the second Punisher. First Punisher's Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Anyway,
losing my breath. I'm talking too fast.
you're the one having a stroke. So this
Whoa.
episode is about television. So we've done a lot of movies, and we're going to try to get away from that just a little
We're
bit. because-
changing it up in episode 10.
Because-
We've ran out of material.
Well, that's it. It's been a good run.
For
This
who?
is our Jason 10 episode.
Oh,
We're
sweet.
going-
James getting in a body bag, a sleeping bag, like a pouch against a tree.
We're going to
Nobody
space.
understood what you just
I know.
said.
I said James getting in
Nobody.
a. Hold on. James,
Yes.
get in a sleeping bag so
Why-
we
why
can
does it
pine
always-
you against a tree. Pine you against
Pine?
a tree.
Pine
In
the
the
pines,
pines,
where
in
the
the
sun
pines.
never
I
shines.
take full responsibility for everything that's happening.
You should. Anyway,
Oh my God.
so this is great because we're moving away from TV or movies a little bit and going to concentrate on TV because Bonehead's always going to be about, or always has been about, commenting on all of pop culture. Where this episode though is about TV shows that were canceled when
Too soon.
Now the elephant in the room about this is Firefly.
Firefly. We all three love Firefly.
You all love Firefly. You all love Firefly. We're not talking about Firefly.
No, we're going to go, and it's not that we're intentionally going obscure, but what we're actually going to talk
But
about
we're
is...
intentionally going obscure.
No, I think what we're going actually is everybody knows Firefly shouldn't have been canceled. That's not even a topic.
No.
So what we're actually going to look at is some stuff that we like, and that doesn't mean that we all like
And
it.
in defense of Firefly, no, not defense, but the reason, another reason we're not talking about Firefly is it did last only 1 season, but it actually got a movie.
And the movie wrapped
up,
it up a lot of it.
Yeah, and the movie's phenomenal.
Yeah, so if you've not seen it, go out and watch Firefly and then watch Serenity, and it's amazing and you'll love it.
Yeah.
That being said,
And make sure you get attached to Wash. Nothing will ever
never
happen
happened to
him.
Wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing, and I'll bring this up, and especially when
We're talking a lot about Firefly when
Yeah.
we said we weren't going
well,
to.
especially in one of the other episodes, we all know, the shows that we're bringing up didn't have the fortune that Serenity had about getting the cult base following and getting the movie made. So, and another example that I'm going to be bringing up actually fell into the same trap as Firefly did, which we'll go into later on.
There's a lot of different ones that we argued back and forth about because it was, well, certain things had a couple of seasons and we still think they should have went on. Some shows like Deadwood had 3 seasons and I think it should have went on because it didn't really get wrapped up. We loved them so much.
Stupid John from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Which got canceled just in
after
time.
And we are
One
not
season.
going to be discussing John from Cincinnati
or
because
Luck, another David Milch show.
Yeah,
show
but
for
the problem with
HBO.
that one, well, Luck, then a horse died in that one.
They killed more than one.
They killed more than one, but John from Cincinnati was actually a bad show that we're not going to be talking about.
That we just talked about.
Yeah.
There's a few other things that we all argued about. If maybe we should do this one. A good one that James or you said that I can't believe that I didn't think about, but I'm glad I'm not doing. The reason I'm not doing is Police Squad, because I think Police Squad, even though it only lasted about 6 or 8 episodes, if you're a fan of the Naked Gun, that's where Police Squad came from. The reason why I'm not going to bring it up is because it gave us the Naked Gun trilogy later, and I don't think it would have been as good if they did 2 or 3 seasons of it.
Yeah, and you can argue with the argument could be made about Police Squad was that if that show did keep going on, that line of comedy would have just got stale.
It gets stale quick,
yes,
because other people tried to rip off the Zuck, and we could do a whole show about that later on. From Meet the Spartans to Date Movie and all those really, really, really crappy movies.
Oh yeah,
that just ripped off.
Vampires Suck. What a great title.
Yeah.
We put 3 whole minutes of effort.
You put
three whole punches. You put the 3 whole punch in that movie.
I got you 3 whole effort in my pants.
Anyway,
so let's go.
Let's get started.
Joe, no, you please go first. You're the host.
I'm not the host.
You're the Obi-Wan of this. I can't believe I just said that.
Really?
I know you're the Obi-Wan. You're the doctor.
He's not that cool.
No, but he wants to kill me and see if I come back.
In all fairness,
Obi-Wan's not even Salacious Crumb of here.
Obi-Wan's not even.
Oh, I'd rather be Lando.
We should probably save this for the Star Wars episode.
Which one of us is Lando? Okay. This is the one I'm really excited about, and I'm going to go for it.
The one that we don't know what you're going to bring up?
Yeah, they don't know what you're going to, what I'm going to say. And if you thought of it and wrote it down and I missed it when we were going back and forth, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Who remembers American Gothic?
Oh, that's
Dude!
Yep. American Gothic.
That
Gary
was like
Cole. We talked about it.
We had a lengthy conversation about this today.
I have no recollection of it.
We were going back and forth about American Gothic. How can you not have American Gothic?
I never saw that.
Yes, we went back and forth about how this is what. Now, Joe.
Hold on, let me Mel Brooks this.
Joe just hit his cat.
I did not hit the cat. I just kind of.
Our laughter did not drowned out the.
Did we really? I swear
we really
I never
did,
saw
because
it.
James said he thought about it last night, and I said, "Oh my God, it's on my list." You just took one of my shows.
I'm not going to talk about it now.
Well, no, we got to talk about it now.
You brought it up.
Oh yeah?
No, talk about it, because I mean, we might as well get the conversation, because this is one we all 3 agree on, because it's such a fantastic show.
I watched it growing up.
I did too.
I remember
there's a couple episodes I don't think I've ever saw, because a couple were never actually aired.
Well, and
I'm sure you can watch them on the DVD if you have the DVD.
Well, and I was going to say, and it was picked up. Sci-Fi Channel used to do that. I don't know if they still do it, because I'm not home during the day. But they used to, about twice a week, would run from 8 a.m. till 4 or 5 p.m. just rerun shows that didn't run too long. And that was the one that they did. So a lot of shows that didn't even quote-unquote finish airing, they would show the episodes that didn't air on Sci-Fi.
I just can't believe that I totally missed that. And I don't know if I ever saw that on Link today. Anyway.
You were actually responding to it in the middle of us conversation about... So anyway, I mean, so...
Well, it was created by Sean Cassidy. Sam Raimi, if you know The Evil Dead and Spider-Man, Sam Raimi was one of the producers. Sean Cassidy was actually from the Partridge Family? Or Cassidy or whatever, right?
Yes.
That guy. Gary Cole played Sheriff Lucas Buck, who was... never quite explained what he was. He's evil.
But that's what was so great about it.
And it's a creepy little town, kind of a Stephen King-esque town. It takes place in South Carolina.
I was sold on that show, and I don't remember much of the show, but burned permanently into my memory is the first commercial they did for it, where it has a couple scenes of Gary Cole as Sheriff Buck or whatever.
It's Buck, because Lucas Black, because he played Lucas Buck, and the kid is Lucas Black, who is from Sling Blade. He's the kid from Sling Blade.
And Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
We're going to go with Sling Blade.
But
he's in Sling Blade. He's also in Jarhead. Let's go with the good stuff.
But anyway, the commercial it has a couple scenes for him, and then it just has the repeated line, and that's why it burned into my head, was it just it doesn't freeze frame.
Oh, with the sister.
It has the camera that just focused on the door, and you hear there's something at the door.
But and do you remember who played the sister?
Yes.
It's just repeated over and over again.
Go ahead.
The commercial ended with "There's someone at the door." There's something.
His sister was saying it.
The sister was Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson, who would go on to be famous for other things other than Serenity. She's actually in Serenity.
Oh.
Yeah, she's the lady at the end when they get to Miranda.
Oh, that's right. She's yeah.
Yeah, but she's American Horror Story
and the gingerbread man with what's his face?
Are you talking the Ginger
Sarah
Dead Man?
Paulson's in that?
No, Gingerbread Man with
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah. I thought she was the. Maybe
I don't
I
think I've ever
have
seen
that
it.
wrong.
I've never seen it.
But no, yeah. Also, it starred Paige Turco from probably the best April O'Neil from she was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and 3.
I don't even remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So can you get it on DVD? Do you all have it?
It's available on DVD, and no, I do not have it.
No.
I don't either.
In my research, when I found out it was on DVD, I'm half tempted to go out and buy it. Because one of my favorite episodes of that show was called Potato Boy.
Yeah.
Do either one of you remember Potato Boy?
I do not, but I was reading about it today.
Yeah, it's about a deformed child who lives in this weird, scary, abandoned house by himself, and who at night people can hear him sing because he has a really good voice. And Lucas, the kid, goes and discovers him, and then there are several other interconnecting stories with Lucas, Lucas Black and Gary Cole's character.
Who was Lucas Buck?
Lucas Buck, yeah.
Which could get confusing.
Yeah. So the one thing I looked at in all my shows is why was that show canceled?
Why was it canceled?
So the right away the show suffered from low ratings, and the main reason being it didn't really fit the format of shows that were popular at that time. This show was probably about 10 years ahead of its time.
If it had been on HBO or something later on, it would have been a big hit.
Right.
Where they could have done it edgy.
And, it's kind of funny because I was waiting to say this was actually last on my list.
So sorry.
No, it's okay.
I killed my cat just for you.
But this is also one of the
you, Dave.
this is what I was mentioning earlier about Firefly. This is one of the shows that falls into the same area that Firefly ran into with the network. They actually aired the shows out of order.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, so those two things combined just killed the show from the
because there is a something of the week somewhat, but there's also an overarching storyline between Lucas Black actually being the sheriff's son, right, and him wanting to corrupt him, and
then Paige Turco being the woman who's trying to keep him from going down that path because there's something special about the kid,
right?
Which again is never fully realized because the show ended too soon.
Right. I loved it as a kid. It was one of my special treats.
Yeah, I loved it. I never missed an episode when it came on.
And Nightmare Cafe. In Nightmare Cafe, either one of you ever heard of it?
No.
It lasted 6 episodes. That sounds familiar. Nightmare Cafe was created by Wes Craven. He actually directed the pilot. So. It starred Robert Englund.
Yep, I was about to say.
It's a true story. And it lasted 6 episodes, and he kind of there was these 2 people, they end up at a cafe, and people would come out, and there was like a different story every week, and it was weird, and it's kind of a science fiction, kind of horror kind of thing. It's called Nightmare Cafe, lasted 6 episodes on NBC, as I recall, or ABC.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that one's obscure. That's almost too obscure to bring up.
Robert Englund starred in Nightmare Cafe and the Nightmare on Elm Street TV show.
Yes, and both were created by, both came from Wes Craven's brain.
Yeah. And there was also a pilot that was filmed where it was basically leeching off of Fear Factor that was going to be something like Freddy's Nightmares, and it was going to set
That's true.
And it was made as a pilot, but I don't think obviously it wasn't picked up. But the pilot has leaked. You can find that.
But if you can ever get a chance to pick up Nightmare Cafe, to my knowledge, actually, I was going to look it up the other day. It's not available. At Scarefest, we need to stop doing that. But I'm actually going to ask him about it.
Okay.
Because it's the only.
Yeah.
You get a lot of questions about Nightmare Cafe. Well, according to me, I do. I don't know. So that's mine. Next,
James, you go ahead.
I'm going to start with one that's a little obscure, but it's burned into my memory because I remember loving it as a kid, and that's Outlaws. Does anybody remember Outlaws?
What's Outlaws?
What is
Outlaws. Okay, let me pitch this to you because
last time you pitched something to me.
Even the pitch sounds really weird. We're going to get Charles Napier.
Okay.
We're going to get Richard...
Not Chuck Napier.
Yeah. We're going to get Richard Roundtree.
Not the Dick Roundtree.
We're going to get Rod Taylor and William Lucking. Now, here's
Rod Taylor from the Time Machine?
Oh, yeah, buddy.
With
and
Shaft?
Guess what? Yes. And here's what happened. Here's the plot to Outlaws.
I've got to see this crap
1986.
Yeah,
no, you can find it. It's all online. They're on YouTube. People have uploaded them because it has a huge fan base that lasted 1 season. And here was the plot to Outlaws. It's very much... It was considered, quote-unquote, even at the time... The network considered it too high concept. They premiered it as a TV movie of the week because it used to be, quite frankly, how they did a lot of pilots.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Got huge ratings. And the plot to Outlaws was Rod Taylor played the sheriff. He was pursuing,
as he tends to do.
As he was pursuing 4 desperados that he actually used to be in a gang with. He gave it up, went clean, went straight, and Charles Napier plays one of the desperados who's always quoting the Bible, and so he's always like, "We're going to pay for this, but it must be." Anyway, he chases them, and he has a posse with him, and he has a full posse, and the posse.
What's he saying?
I don't know. Posse. I think he's saying posse. I think he went into
Posse?
Posse.
Posse. Yes.
He started talking about the Mario Van
See,
Peebles
we're going to run out of time.
Mario
We're
Van
running out of time.
I understand yes.
The posse won't follow him because he's going
Posse
into...
won't follow me either.
He's going into a haunted land, the Native Americans, and there's skeletons everywhere, and they believe it's cursed and all this stuff. When he goes in there to get them, they're struck by lightning in 1899 Houston.
What the hell is going on?
This is the first 3 minutes of the show.
Hey, can I have my notes?
He
May I
wakes
have my
up.
notes?
He wakes up.
Don't throw them at the kitty.
They all wake up in 1986 Houston.
Okay.
In 1986 Houston, they end up starting a bar fight because they find a bar and they think everybody is basically.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
And Charles Napier, who's always quoting the Bible, says he's against this is all sin, but he's okay with the women having less modesty than they used to. They end up solving a crime. They encounter drugs, and they're like, "This is wrong." They stop it.
Only in Reagan's America were drugs wrong.
And
Stupid Nancy.
They end up starting a private detection agency, and everybody assumes that they're pretending to be cowboys is just shtick. Now here's what happened.
Shtick.
It was so high concept that they had, because it was time travel, detective agency, and western all in one. Huge rating success in the beginning. By the last 13 episodes, one full season. They did a 13 episode order.
So
by the
last
one,
yeah.
By the last episode, they didn't even bother to do commercials for it. Like the last episode aired, and there was not one commercial made for it. And the problem with it was they bounced it around the time. Because it came out as such a big success when it first aired that they were like, well, we can do whatever we want with this show. So they actually had it moving around to premiere other shows and the entire interest. But there are still people, every episode's uploaded, you can watch it. What's really funny is Richard Roundtree, it was actually kind of nice.
TV's Richard Roundtree?
Richard Roundtree played the most literate of them. Like they encountered an airplane for the first time. And Charles Napier, that's the devil's chariot coming to get us, boys. And Richard Roundtree is like, well, actually, there are theories about... So they did a lot of character study where he was... Anyway, it was a really interesting show. It was considered very high concept because it did combine 3 different genres. And huge success, but they tried to use it to launch a bunch of other shows. So they moved it around their schedule. It didn't air at the same time for more than 2 weeks in a row.
Well.
And so, great cast, phenomenal cast, huge success in the beginning. Not a smart show, but neither was A-Team, neither was anything else, and it's just as entertaining as that.
You knocked that sass mouth out of your mouth.
It's very much functions as the A-Team. It's a very entertaining show. That being said, great cast. Just don't think about it, but it was entertaining.
You're right about the A-Team. Okay. It's one of those things you watch as a kid and love, and then 30 years later you look at it and go, oh.
It's not, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it's Knight Rider. Knight Rider's the same way. You love to watch it. I go back and I watch it, and I watch it with my kids and be like, it's entertaining. But if you think about it, this is the same way. It was very entertaining. There's so many, there's some scenes where Charles Napier might as well look at the screen and just go, weak!
Now, we're talking about Russ Meyer's Charles Napier, right?
No, we're talking about Jonathan Demme's Charles Napier.
We're talking about the sheriff in the first 3 episodes of Squidbillies, Charles Napier.
So we're
talking about Charles Napier from the
Blues Brothers.
So are we talking? Are we talking about Austin Powers, Charles Napier?
I guess we could be.
Yeah, we could be.
Okay.
But anyway, it was a really entertaining, fun, stupid show. It made it 13 episodes, was a huge success in the beginning, and now very few people
That's expensive furniture you're putting your foot on.
Oh, okay. I'm
sorry. If you obviously have not been watching any of the episodes, because my foot goes up every episode.
It's the only thing on you that goes up. All right, moving right along. What's the next episode?
I'm gonna skip. So I I had these ordered, but since you just went and screwed up my entire order,
I'm going to lean back and go back to sleep.
I'm going to skip because the one thing.
Oh, it's okay. Leave me out of the shot.
Doing this, preparing for this show, I realized that James
Our
Thomas,
ratings will go up if he's out of the shot.
Oh, at least there won't be 2 Stay Puffs in the frame.
But no, when preparing for the episode, I realized that me and James were soulmates because we seem to have the same list. Except for Outlaws, I've never seen that show, but now that you've described it,
you gotta go.
I have to go see it.
In your lusty affairs.
Yes, because my true colors shining through. I see your true colors.
He sings that to you, and I sing Fat Bottom Girls.
That's why I love you.
They make the rockin' world go round.
Don't be afraid.
I'm going to kill you both in your sleep.
All right,
Cyndi Lauper can suck it.
She sure can.
I did not even mean to go that route. So I'm going to bring up Brimstone.
Brimstone, great show.
An amazing, wonderful show.
I know who wrote that.
That only lasted half a
Is that
season.
Cyrus Voorhees?
Cyrus Voorhees and Ethan Reef, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And go ahead and say tell us about them.
Are you serious? Go ahead.
No, you tell them. I didn't know they wrote it. So you go ahead.
Oh, I didn't. I wasn't trying to take your thunder.
No. This is what a podcast is.
Oh no, Pumpkin! I don't want to take your thunder.
Tell us why we should know who that is.
The reason why Demon Knight is so much like Brimstone is because those 2 guys wrote Demon Knight.
Yeah, see.
Did you know that?
No, honestly, I didn't know they wrote Brimstone.
Demon Knight, for those of you that aren't aware, is the lesser form of Bordello of Blood.
No, Demon Knight, for you all that are unaware, is the only Tales from the Crypt movie that doesn't suck.
Whatever. Bordello of Blood is a classic.
But no, so if you haven't heard of Brimstone, what Brimstone
It's
is
fun bad, but it's bad.
It's about a police officer, a detective who commits a murder, and then he in turn dies.
Justified murder.
Justified
his
murder.
Wife is being assaulted.
His wife is being assaulted. So when he dies, he is sent to hell
because he doesn't repent.
Now 113 souls escape from hell, and the devil brings this cop back to Earth and covers him with 113 tattoos, each tattoo representing one of the souls that escaped, and he is tasked with collecting these souls by shooting out their eyes.
Because
you remember that movie Demon Knight?
Yes,
because eyes are the windows
to the soul, which has never been a cliche.
It had an amazing antagonist, probably one of the best antagonists.
Oh, John Glover
in
as the devil is one of my. There's about 4 or 5 versions of the devil.
I could name another one that's probably almost second, if not almost there.
And I was about to say, well, the other one does it involve a certain Mr. Wise?
Ray Wise from Reaper that I almost put on there, but Reaper got 2 seasons.
Well, and I was about to say, and what's great about both those versions,
but Ray Wise is the devil and Reaper. Yeah. If you ever get a chance,
you really don't remember half this conversation because I was sitting there going, Joe, are you going to bring up Reaper? Joe, are you going to bring up Reaper?
No, well, the reason I didn't bringing that up is because it got more than 1 season.
Yeah, but one of the shows I'm bringing up got more.
The thing about Ray Wise plays him very much like a used car salesman. Like he's very slimy.
Yes.
John Glover plays him. I mean, he's
manipulative,
and he knows things. And anytime that Ezekiel Stone is the name of the officer. Anytime Stone gets anything on him, there's only 1 or 2 times the entire show where you think, oh, he's kind of got him for once. But it's extremely rare. But he's just so good. There's a scene where, because all the souls also have powers, and their powers are based on how they died.
Right.
And so one of them comes back with a disease power, basically kind of a typhoid Mary thing, and is killing people left and right. And Stone gets it, even though he's dead. And so the devil appears to him, and he's wearing the mask over him, and he goes, you're the devil, you can't get it. And he goes, well, we've got to make sure. I mean, just tormenting him every turn. It's just so fun.
And you know the fact that the character was named Ezekiel. One of the cool aspects of this show that I really liked was the fact that every day he'd wake up, he would have the exact amount of money he had in his pocket when he died, which was $36.27. That was all he had to live on for a day. He'd wake up the next morning, have the same amount in his pocket. That's actually the writers put that in as a tie to Ezekiel 36:27.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but so you know, and one of my favorite episodes was the episode where Ezekiel is forced to relive his past with John Glover as both the devil and as an angel of heaven.
Yeah.
And it was just a great episode, and it ended.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, and
it's one of the best episodes, and it's actually there's a backstory behind it. Do you know the backstory behind that episode?
No, please share.
The backstory behind that episode, because what happens is when he sees John Glover, and I think he's wearing white, and he's wearing like a toboggan, and he's smiling and goofy, and he goes, "Oh my God, I know it's you. You're just messing with me," and he goes, No, this happens once you see one angel, even if it's a fallen one. Every other angel you see looks like that. Originally, the way the script was written, and John Glover has said in interviews, even recently, this his biggest regret about that show was originally at the end of the episode, you were going to see both of them together, and both of them were going to be the devil. It was just him messing with him and giving him false hope.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
The entire time. Because it's basically It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Where he does make him, because what happens is John Glover, as the angel, is giving him, he wants you to believe that you're beyond redemption. You can't believe that. You can still be redeemed. God knows you're trying to do the right thing now. And it was going to originally end the way it was scripted with actually both of them was him, and he was just giving him false hope.
Even still, it had a heart-wrenching ending where he's sitting there watching his wife from afar, and he knows he can't go up to her, and Annie Lennox's "Wise" playing in the background. Perfect song. But, you know, I feel like we need to be in drag.
There's when
also,
you mean when we're not.
No,
For the people listening to us on iTunes, I look great in a moo-moo.
One of the greatest episodes of the show, and I don't know if you remember this one. It was 13 episodes too.
Yeah, it only lasted half a season.
One of the best episodes to me, and it has the one time that he kind of gets the devil, is there is a character. I won't give anything away. You can find this. It's not on DVD.
No, it's not. No DVD
But
release,
a lot
which
of
is
times
depressing.
you can find it online. I would buy it on DVD in a heartbeat. Warner Brothers put it out.
Yeah.
But
Warner Brothers,
one of the best
ruiner of everything.
One of the best episodes for me is it goes into a little bit about how the souls escape, and you find out that a character that has been in a few episodes, and is actually at one point you think could be a kind of a romantic interest, is actually one of the souls that escaped.
Yeah.
And he has, the episode ends with him looking at the devil and goes, You let it happen. You loved her, and the devil's response is, "I only loved one person or one being, and that was a long time ago." And it's just a end of show.
Yeah. Now,
And it had so many things like that to where you couldn't watch it without just feeling invested in it.
Now, the one thing I did with every show that I had in my list is, why was it canceled? So this show just again fell into the area of bad placement. Again, and it was, you know, it seems like sometimes the network just has no faith in a show. It was at the time, it was and what they wanted to do is they wanted to feed off of the hit show that would eventually be canceled sooner. This was the lead-in show to the third season of Millennium.
Not Freaky Links?
Not Freaky Links. And then both shows were put into
Not to be confused with the rap song "Freakily"
Or Harsh Realm?
Yeah. Harsh Realm. Oh,
Dark Angel.
Oh, that show was not good.
We could go ahead and just say, go watch the Family Guy episode where they brought Family Guy back, and they say, well, the only way we get brought back is if they cancel it, and they list about 40 shows.
Yeah, those are all on there.
Those are all valid.
But another show that I'm going to bring up if we have time. If this fell into the dreaded 8 p.m. time slot of the mid 1990s, which was TGIF
Friday.
Yeah. So it just low ratings killed it. That's why it only lasted half a season.
Yeah. All right.
So Joe, you're next.
Well, let's lighten it up. Dennis Leary's The Job.
The Jib.
All right. Now, technically, The Job got 2 seasons, but neither one were full seasons.
Yeah, they were half seasons, right?
They were half seasons. There's actually only 19 episodes, even with both of those together.
Yeah.
Now, when they premiered it, they put it in a great time slot, threw it out, and guess what? They moved it around.
Yeah.
And do people keep up with that pre-TiVo,
No.
Yes.
It got outlawed.
It got outlawed. The Job, for you all who've never seen it, was a show created by Dennis Leary. If you watched Rescue Me, It's a lot like Rescue Me in the sense of that it's a lot of the same characters. Adam Ferrara was in both shows. Larry Clark was in both shows. They're both The Job and Rescue Me were both created by Dennis Leary and Peter Tolan. Diane Farr was in both shows. It also had Bill Nunn from Spider-Man, who's now passed away. He played his partner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So it was kind of like Rescue Me, only I preferred it to Rescue Me. If you've ever watched Barney Miller, it was probably an edgier, more hip Barney Miller. Even though I love Barney Miller, by the way, and I blasted through them about 2 years ago. Christy and I went through every episode of Barney Miller, and it, by the way, no, it really holds up.
No, I agree.
No, it does. It holds up. So if you've never seen Barney Miller, go out there. But it was
it's amazing how we just keep going back to Firefly.
Oh yeah, because Ron Glass is in Body, and who's also dead.
Rest in peace.
Is everyone dead? Anyway,
we are old.
So The Job, he was a cop. He was a New York City cop instead of a New York City fireman. It was only 30 minutes long, and it was much funnier to me than Rescue Me.
Yes.
Rescue Me had a lot of drama to it, but he was kind of the same character. He was on pills. He drank a lot. He had a girlfriend. He had a wife. He had all these other things going on in his life. He's a very flawed character.
He is not a good person.
He's not a good person.
No.
They're very similar shows. I just happen to love The Job more.
And I'm right there with you. You know I am.
I know. Because Rescue Me, I've watched every episode. I enjoyed it. It's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the worst endings of any TV series
Which I still
ever.
have not watched.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. If they'd ended it in the first 10 minutes of that last episode, it would have been fantastic. Problem is, they did another 40. It's god awful.
Yes.
Anyway, it was just great. I don't have anything else to say except superlatives about how funny it was. If you can, go out there.
Hold on, let's see.
I've got it on DVD.
That I got you.
Yeah, you did. Did you buy me that?
Yeah, I bought it for you for Christmas with you.
One of my favorite... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so the favorite episode.
Okay, there's 2 or 3.
I'm going to go count to 3, and then we're going to do something simultaneously. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3. The Foot.
The Foot's
Oh, you
good.
were supposed to do it at the same time.
No, because there's another episode I love too. They get so The Foot is about a podiatrist's office.
Yes.
And somebody keeps leaving dead cadaver feet. I mean, dead cadaver is, by the way, redundant.
Yes.
But they keep leaving dead just a foot,
We're
a
all
human
having trouble
foot out
talking
front,
today.
right?
Yes.
Turns out, and they take the foot, and throughout the episode, the foot keeps showing up in people's lockers. Bill Nunn's popcorn. He reaches in and eats popcorn. There's the foot. That's a great episode.
That's
Another great episode is about a serial killer, and Lenny Clark is a really big fat detective in the show.
Yeah.
And the serial killer is made soup out of his girlfriend's head. And Lenny Clark
keeps eating
the soup because he's addicted to it, keeps going back, and he even finds a hair in it before he knows that it's this guy's dead girlfriend. He goes, well, it's roughage. It's good for you. It's fiber. So it's just a great episode.
It's every episode. There isn't a bad episode.
No, there's another one. They're horrible people. It's
Yeah.
about horrible people. These cops are terrible, terrible people. There's another episode where they get it's a telescope, and they start trying to find nude women all the way across. And then they're watching this lady work out nude, and she moves some furniture, so they pretend that they're movers, and they have to go in and move the furniture again, and then find. I mean, they're terrible people.
Yes.
There's an episode about a massage parlor.
Yeah, and they all keep going.
They keep going because it's not really a massage parlor. It's a little Handy J place. You know what I mean? So they're terrible people. So if you get a chance, watch The Job. I don't know. I don't think I could have sold it better than what I just did. There's not a bad episode.
There's not a bad episode. All right, James.
See, that's all I'm going to take.
I've got to go with my go-to, and again, you all talking about your luxury shows that lasted 13 episodes. I'm going Nearly Departed.
No.
God, I love that show. Nearly Departed. Here's the backstory of Nearly Departed. 1989.
I thought it was older than that.
No,
I believe you.
I actually thought it was older than that too, but when I looked it up, and here's the story
That's the year
behind
my
it.
parents split up, James. Thanks for bringing it up.
Well, at least something good came out of that year. Your parents got divorced, but they canceled Nearly Departed.
And James Thomas got some digits.
Why did my dad give you his phone?
He was the one paying me to keep your mom away.
Oh! Mom jokes.
Eric Idle.
Strada.
Eric Idle, Caroline McWilliams, Stuart Pankin, Wendy Shaw now known as Francine on American Dad. However, basically the show focused on Eric Idle and Carolyn McWilliams played ghosts. And Eric Idle was English professor.
Show. It had the most awful opening song too.
Dearly departed.
Stumbling cockeyed, the moment that rock slide came tumbling down on our heads. Maybe we're better off dead.
That theme song was so awful.
Departed.
You know, did Eric Idle need the money?
Well, here's the backstory in this show. Because the show technically is a remake of Topper. Topper was a Cary Grant film that made Cary Grant rich.
Yeah.
Because he did the production of it. He had a percentage of it. And it became a hit in, 1937? And the plot of Topper is, same plot as Nearly Departed, a married couple, their house gets bought by someone after they're dead.
Beetlejuice.
And
I was totally going to say Beetlejuice.
Hold on, and we're going to come back to that. It was based on Topper, but the reason that's why 1989 is so relevant, it was based on Topper on paper. The reason it got greenlit was Beetlejuice. But Topper was what they based it on. That's why it had to be a British actor, because Topper, Cary Grant, was being British and all that stuff. But the
Cary Grant was something, but we're not sure what.
But the plot is
I don't mean
that
in a
basically
bad way. I mean, nobody taught like Cary Grant.
Eric Idle is an English professor. He looks down on everybody. There is some episodes that kind of allude to the fact that he is not heaven-bound. And then his wife is always goody-goody and all that stuff. And Stuart Pankin owns a plumbing business and moves in with his family. The grandfather is the only one that can see him because he's so close to death. So there's actually some elements of really dark humor.
You know what this makes me want to do?
What?
Watch The Job. Check out The Job. The Job was canceled too soon and was funny.
The show is plagued by no budget. They actually didn't even ever give it a full order. Everybody's like, oh, it made it a season. No, it didn't make it a season. It didn't make it a month.
I remember when it came out. I remember watching it.
It premiered
My
on
mom
April
and dad
10th,
were gone.
April 10th, 1989. Well, they moved on to better things and left you behind. April 10th, 1989.
They sure did.
Canceled May 1st. They only filmed 6 episodes. And Eric Idle, to my knowledge, I've tried to find comments from him on this. It wasn't even done as a filler show. It was done because they canceled another show, and they would rather not even run reruns of that show. So they basically filmed 6 episodes, knowing.
What's the other show?
I don't know. I tried to find information on it.
Was that in was it NBC? I don't remember.
I don't remember what. I think it was NBC. But anyway, this show, there are people that are fans of it that look for it. And it is something that's from my childhood. And it's Eric Idle. As a matter of fact, to be honest, it's probably my first encounter with Eric Idle because it's not like my parents would have let me watch.
Yeah, probably it would have been your first.
Yeah.
Maybe, National Lampoon's European Vacation, maybe before that. I'm trying to think of other Eric Idle.
But
American
anyway,
stuff.
it's
For you people who don't know, Eric Idle was part of the greatest comedy group of all time.
The not ready for primetime players.
No, Monty Python. The Pythons.
But anyway, no.
The Beatles of comedy.
Which
is a cliche, but true.
But they went by another name called SCTV.
So yeah, it did get it did get greenlit because of Beetlejuice, but even then they knew it was going to be a short-term thing. And if you watch it, Eric Idle has the lines that are worth listening to. That's just the way it is.
Not Stuart Pankin?
No, but Eric Idle. I rewatched the pilot. And
had he already blown all that second sight money?
Obscure.
Somebody out there, Bronson Pinchot!
And John Larroquette.
That's right.
But no, it's Eric Idle has all the great lines. If you're a fan of Eric Idle, you should watch it. That being said, I rewatched the first episode and the second episode, and if Eric Idle isn't talking, don't bother.
All right. So I'm going to bring up a show that actually does not fall into the categories. It actually lasted 2 seasons, but it's why and it's how it ended. I'm of course talking about Carnival.
Okay.
2001,
which I never got into.
HBO. Oh God.
It's the cast makes it.
That's Adrienne Barbeau.
before she was
Nick,
a Barboba.
what's his face?
Nick Stahl, Clancy Brown.
Oh.
I mean, Lex Luthor, Mr. Krabs, Shawshank Redemption.
Really? You're going to throw out all that? Kurgan?
I'm not going to mention Highlander.
You're not going to talk about the Burrowers?
Sleepy Hollow.
The Burrowers.
Sleepy Hollow.
No, sorry.
In the first
We're
two
going with
episodes?
Mr. Krabs.
He actually is the best part of Sleepy Hollow.
He is the best, and he's in 2 episodes.
He's in the first 2 episodes.
But yeah, even so Michael J. Anderson from Twin Peaks, which actually is a good show. David Lynch, solid.
Really? You'll crap on his other stuff, but you're going to
I like Twin Peaks.
keep going.
Bill Moseley was in almost every season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bill Moseley and Toby Huss.
Who's Toby Huss?
You would know him as Radar from Down Periscope.
Not what about Radar? From
Not Radar. It's not Radar because that's Rocket Man, Half Baked.
Yes.
This was the electrician who can sing like Frank Sinatra. He went on to do a bunch of. He was the Hank Hill's father in King of the Hill.
Okay, cool.
Hank's wife.
Yeah, so it had an amazing cast, but it was only lasted 2 seasons.
Without Toby Huss.
So what the show is about? It takes place during the Dust Bowl. Nick Stahl is the main character, as well as Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
It's a great telling of good versus evil. Clancy Brown is having apocalyptic visions.
As a preacher.
Is a preacher, and he's yes.
Isn't Clea Duvall in that as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, she plays the love interest.
Okay.
Ghost of Mars,
Yeah.
Clea Duvall.
Ghost of Mars. Never forget.
No, let's forget.
Let's least of the Carpenter films.
But yeah, so it takes place. Nick Stahl he plays the good character who is kind of like a prophet receiving
And a healer, right?
and a healer. He heals people. And it's all about it. And what the show is leading up to is the eventual pairing of these two coming together, and something amazing is going to happen. Maybe Armageddon. That's what it's kind of implying. Am I correct in this?
Yeah, no, and there's the visuals on it are so strong. Like even in the first episode where the woman is Dust Bowl depression, all that stuff, and a woman goes into Clancy Brown's church and she steals from the collection tray, and later on he has her stay back and calls her into his office and has her basically repent. And as she repents, money starts coming, and she starts vomiting money. And
Why don't you ever do that? You just vomit. Your vomit's useless.
Peas and corn. Why is that all your diet consists of?
I don't eat. Cornman's okay.
That and rice noodles, you sick bastard.
Rice noodles and peas and
Even
corn?
though, so I guess technically you're a walking ramen machine.
Will you vomit me up some ramen?
Are you gonna human centipede my vomit?
So but no.
fish.
And
Are you going to human centipede my vomit? May very well be this episode's title.
But what's more? So what is the most?
Ew.
So let's talk about why
ate that out of his ass.
God. Let's talk about why this show was canceled. It was insanely expensive.
I bet.
A very high budget. And when it premiered, it was one of the highest rated shows in HBO history.
I remember watching it.
But the ratings quickly dropped because people were just, they weren't patient enough with the show, in my personal opinion.
Well, it's also very heavy.
Yes, it is very heavy.
I mean, if you're a fan and if you can watch it on DVD and you can take it in, but if you've worked a full day and you're just wanting to escape,
you just don't want to take it in.
Yeah, and that was the same critique. By the way, I'm quoting a critique of Kingdom Hospital by Stephen King.
Yeah, Kingdom Hospital is another one of those that could have went on longer, but it's a little too heavy.
Yeah, and it's all over the place, but in the best of ways.
Yes, it's all over the place. Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
No, I was just going to go back to Carnival.
Yeah,
no, I was going to say
I like going on cruises.
Here's the most infuriating part about Carnival for me. They were going to give it a movie. It was going to get turned into a movie to wrap it up, but the damn show writer said no. We're going to pass that up. There's too much to tell, and that's just lazy.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take the writer viewpoint of this. I'm going to argue
would
back.
not, because you would take the check viewpoint of this.
No.
You would have been, Oh,
Dude, I'm gonna counter this.
Not too much.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Where's
counter
Checky?
this.
Mr. Checky, Mr. Checky.
I'm gonna
I know,
counter
I've watched
this.
you actually
I'm
say
gonna
this.
counter this though. They had already got some Checkies. If I have Checkies already,
You will want more Checkies. Tell me I'm lying.
But no,
it depends. No, I do think I do have some, like if it's one of something that I've created and I've got something invested in it, I would have a hard time wrapping it up and it suck.
But what you do, you make a movie. Don't wrap it up. Make a really amazing movie out of this. Get a frickin' sequel and keep it going.
So where was the movie going to be on HBO?
I'm assuming they were going to give it a theatrical release. I didn't really. I was trying to get details into this movie that never transpired.
I never knew that.
And there are still petitions going. Get it going. Of course, it's too late now. I mean, Nick Stahl's
48 years
old and disappeared off of.
I don't even. Yeah.
He's actually outside right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick!
Is the dwarf still alive?
We're not going to heat up that can of beans for you, Nick.
Is the dwarf from Twin Peaks still alive?
I didn't look that up. I don't think he is actually, but no wait.
No, the other guy's dead. That was a Racerhead. The guy that actually played Racer. Anyway,
Thank
go ahead.
God.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
Dude!
That movie made no sense. It was stupid.
Yeah, so he deserved to die.
He doesn't deserve
Have
to
you
die.
seen that movie?
Why did you go all Sam Jackson on him?
I don't know.
He deserves to die.
Die, I hope he burns in hell. Not really. Hell's a horrible place. Hope you're in heaven with that weird snake baby.
I think that's the title of this one.
I hope you're in heaven with that weird snake, baby.
You-
Haley, you okay?
I made Haley go.
She just...
Yes.
Yes.
babies.
You go okay? Yeah. Von Brechtenstein.
Snake babies.
We've lost Haley, people.
She's
All right, so do we need to move on
I
past
think we're
Carnival?
almost out of time. Do you want to do? Can we do one apiece, real quick?
Yeah, let's do one fire
All right,
shot.
one fire shot. All right, Better Off Ted. Yes, it lasted 2 seasons, but there were once again 2 half seasons. It only got 20-some episodes. It had Portia de Rossi in it. It was created by this guy named Victor Fresa, and he actually created Andy Richter Controls the Universe.
It was hilarious
He
too.
did a lot. He was a writer on Mad About You. He created a couple other shows that didn't quite take off either. That are kind of, oh my god, that one that was good.
Yeah.
Better Off Ted was set in an office environment with quirky characters. I really enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say about it. I mean, check out Better Off Ted. I think it's on Netflix, or it was.
And I was going to bring the DVD of this, and I didn't. It would be sitting on the table. Undergrads, and if you've not heard of Undergrads, there's 1,000 shows with that title. But Undergrads was an animated show. It was on MTV. It was when MTV played music for a long time. Then for some reason in the 90s and early 2000s, they made tons of cartoons, none of which lasted more than a season. But Undergrads was
Rip Carson Daly.
He's
Why
still
did you
alive,
wish
isn't he?
Carson Daly dead? Why did it mix to be the dwarf from Twin
Anyway,
Peaks?
in the interest of time,
He's the resurrected soul of the guy from Eraserhead. Just
not-
keep dying, Kitty.
That's not true.
anyway, snake babies. Anyway, Undergrads.
Babies up in him.
Anyway, Undergrads was actually a show that it's nowhere near as good as The Simpsons, but it tried to do the same thing, except it looked at 4 friends that were going away to college. 3 of them go to the same college. 1 of them goes to a different college. It's about how they try to stay in touch. It actually had some episodes that really resonate with me because it actually
You don't have any friends.
Well, I know, but I'm working on it. No, it had.
I just want to stab him in the balls with that pen of yours.
It had a ton of heart, but then it was just enough nonsense. Like the one that doesn't go to the same school goes to a highly advanced technical school, and they do an entire episode where finally the Star Wars fans and the Star Trek fans, who of course are 90% of the students at this technical school that is studying advanced science, get in a battle and they take over the campus and they actually have. And it's just nonsensical enough, but with enough
You said
heart.
a short little blurb. I said Better Off Ted, told you who was in it, watch it.
Yeah, the only person is in it. The other reason this is relevant, and I would have been done, but since Joe brought this up, I didn't name who was in it. Pete Williamson created it. And
Pete Williamson? TV's Pete Williamson?
See, this is why this goes long.
Yeah.
He just interrupts.
Stab him at the balls and take my side.
But the
With your snake baby.
but the end result of this is Pete Williamson, in some ways, is what could have been. He's a Canadian Seth MacFarlane, I guess, because he did 90%.
Why isn't Seth MacFarlane the Canadian Seth
he's
MacFarlane?
not from Canada, Joe.
Well, he could still be Canada's Seth MacFarlane.
He did a lot of...
America doesn't own Seth MacFarlane. Seth
owns America. I know, what I was going to say
and
is...
Snake Babies.
He did all 90% of the voices for the show. He's immensely talented. The show still occasionally reruns on Comedy Central. It reruns on Teletoon in Canada, and it reruns in the UK often. It came out in 2001, and as of even last year, there are people that are petitioning and trying to get a second season of it. It has a huge a big enough fan base, and it had some fans, but there you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the show by winning on the show that how quickly it was canceled. This show only lasted 2 episodes. The WB's The Oblongs.
That only lasted 2 episodes?
2 episodes on network television before Adult Swim picked it up and finished airing the rest of the episodes. So what is The Oblongs? The main character is voiced by Will Ferrell. The mother is Jean Smart from Designing Women.
I was going to say, who's the mother of that? I can't remember.
TV's
Jean Smart.
As opposed to the Victrolas.
The woman who played Eileen Wuornos.
NBC Red's Jean Smart?
The woman who played Eileen Wuornos before Charlize Theron won an Oscar for it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a made-for-TV movie that made her look like a female superhero. Anyway. But no, what is The Oblongs?
My uncle picked her up.
If you don't know what The Oblongs is, looking up. It's actually very funny. It's a very funny animated show.
It's also kind of dark, though.
It is very dark. So the father has no arms or no legs. The mother is an alcoholic chain smoker who has no hair. They have a little daughter who's cute as a button, but she has a big dong-shaped tumor coming out of her head.
What's a dong-shaped tumor look like?
Why don't you whip out, you drop your pants and show everybody?
His isn't appropriately shaped.
Oh, curvature. Just like
of the moon.
But no, and this show is all about the class struggle, about how the people down in the valley who are all deformed or
because they live in the toxic waste of the people.
Yeah, and then the normal looking rich people who live at the top of the hill.
And it kind of follows the son, right?
Yes, and the son is the main character in the whole show who only has one eye.
And
who's very manic,
sweet kid who has several issues,
and he likes to burn things. But the show is just.
But he's a sweet kid.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, but the show, it was just very dark. It had a unique. For a show to do a comedic outlook on disabilities, alcoholism, and various psychological issues. No show can claim this.
And class struggle, you're right.
And a great take on the class struggle.
I need to go back and rewatch it because I saw a part of an episode and didn't care for it.
To me, it's one of my favorite animated shows that didn't last.
All right.
But
I prefer Undergrads.
I prefer The Oblongs.
James prefers the Money Pit.
And Joe prefers that cartoon about the car about the boy who could turn into a car.
Turbo Teen. The show was called...
I've never seen it.
By the way, there's an entire... This is how we need to end this. There's an entire website dedicated to...
He's still going, Haley.
No, dedicated to the sexuality questions of Turbo Teen because women always ride inside of him.
And on that bombshell, thank you so much for Bonehead.
We're not ending here.
Where do you want to end at?
What happened to Pushing Daisies?
Oh, and we also promised we were going to mention Dark Skies.
I will magically lose this footage if we don't do Pushing Daisies.
Pushing Daisies was a show made by Brian Fuller that was weird.
Hey!
And it had, is it Chi or Chai?
McBride?
Chi McBride.
Chi McBride.
I'm going to go with Chi.
Chi McBride was
The
amazing.
Frighteners, Chi McBride.
Oh.
The John Larroquette Show, Chi McBride.
You mean TV's John Larroquette?
No! We're talking about Second Sight's John Larroquette.
No, we're talking about Madhouse John Larroquette.
Woo, good one. Knuckles.
Boom.
No.
Kirstie Alley.
Yeah.
I was going to say, actually, and we're going to have to wrap this up, but there are actually some other things we didn't get to. Dark Skies being another one.
Dark Shadows, the 90s version.
We're gonna have to. Why don't we just do a second episode?
This.
Yeah, we
so.
always have to say that. I have a show called The Good Guys. Does anybody watch that? It had Colin Hanks and Bradley Whitford. It lasted one season.
It's on Netflix.
It was from the creator of Burn Notice.
Oh.
Well, I didn't watch Burn Notice, but I like The Good Guys. It's kind of a
man.
throwback.
Anyway, we'll visit this.
Burn Notice.
We will revisit this. We'll do it. We will.
And by the way, for those who made it to the end of this episode, I guess we didn't talk about this. We have not forgotten.
Dog Butters.
We have not forgotten about our Stephen King
Miranda
episodes.
Santiago. Who else? Not Miranda Santiago, but Miranda. Shit.
Maranta, by the way.
Who else listens to us?
That guy from Texas.
Oh, that one guy from Texas.
Curtis.
Who's currently living in a canoe.
It's Curtis, baby.
I'm glad everything's okay in Texas. Keep it up.
Everything's not okay.
Where's your version of okay, you sick, twisted bastard?
His family's okay.
Are they in a boat? Are they made out of wood? Do they float? Are they witches?
They just got back into their house, and I'm surprised you didn't end with they all float down here.
They all do float down here.
And have
anyway, thanks for being fans.
Yeah, Pushing Daisies. Check it out if you like weird shit written by Brian Fuller.
And you should.
And you should. And Haley's going to stab me. Thank you so much. I'm Joe Lewis.
He was Joe Lewis. He won't be here next episode because he'll be dead. Dead.
And that the rest of the gang. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Maybe.
Dead.
Welcome to Bonehead. This is a double. What the am I holding this cow?
You just dropped the F-bomb. Do we have to start over?
I know. Hold on.
Oh, gee.
Unless you want to use that for the promo
We had
later.
solid gold material here. Now, geez, break out a dance.
It's the Spot Show. Starring him. Hey, he's Spot. It's the Spot Show. He's got lots of great guests.
I take complete blame for what just happened.
All right. So.
Spot Show.